Hello and welcome to the Watering Hole. Thanks for checking out this clip. Don't forget to like and subscribe because that'll make the baby Jesus cry, and I know how much you guys love making the baby Jesus cry. So, news time?
News time.
News time. Okay. Some of the stories are short, so we might not run long tonight, but there are 5 stories tonight.
Oh boy. We have much to do then.
Some of them are short. The first one might be one of the short ones. Or we might go
Okay.
off on tangents that are related to it, so it will end up being long. So we'll see.
Or unrelated tangents.
Yeah, those are the fun ones, but I feel like there's a lot of tangents to be had on this. But
Oh boy.
yeah, no, this is my Tesla Cybertruck got totaled after it was sideswiped by an e-scooter. All in, I paid $198,000, but insurance is only offering me a fair market value of $77,000. I still owe the bank $171,500.
So, for one, the math's not mathing here. For two, this sounds like, okay,
So,
anime fans in my audience, I really want to ask y'all, does this not sound in every single part like this is an isekai novel? Just the name of a freaking isekai.
There is a picture, though. That's the totaled Cybertruck.
How is that totaled? What?
Well, okay. This is an issue with electric vehicles. It's not necessarily that it is totaled. It is that insurance companies don't want to pay to replace batteries. So if the battery was in any way damaged, then they'll just be like, nope, that's a write-off. That is an issue with electric vehicles. It's more an issue with insurance rather than electric vehicles. But yeah, so that's the Cybertruck. You know, it doesn't look bad, but I've had issues with cars where the damage doesn't look bad, but it's actually been totaled in the past. So like, I get that it doesn't look terrible, but at the same time, like this thing has been advertised as you can shoot it with strong guns or whatever. Like you can shoot it with guns and it'll be fine. You can shoot it with bows and arrows, it'll be fine. It's a tank. Like but it's a tank that died to being lightly tapped by an electric scooter.
I will say electric scooters are are on the heavy side. Like,
well, yeah, batteries are heavy.
Batteries are heavy, and I have an electric scooter, and I've also caused damage to a car with a bicycle before, which weighs less than an electric scooter.
Yeah.
However, that was all on run-of-the-mill vehicles that weren't advertised as post-war tanks.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know you said the math isn't mathing, but like the way I'm reading this is that he paid $198,000 for it. Now, in the article, it talks about how like that wasn't just the cost of the vehicle. He's including in that number that he paid a broker $50,000 to make sure that he got one of the original Founders Edition ones. So there's an extra $50,000 on top of that he paid so that he could have one of the special early ones. For
the privilege of saying I have a small dick? Like, basically, I'm just trying to figure out what the...
Yeah, basically. But, and then, so he had a loan for that amount, and he paid it down to $171,500.
What is it with car manufacturers in the United States being headed by Nazis?
I don't know. What other car manufacturers?
Ford.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're talking historical. You're talking about the meme where like people are saying like Elon Musk is this century's Henry Ford.
Yeah. He really is, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
He really is, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ. Lenari says this sounds like a rich person's problem. Yeah, and you know what? There's a funny thing about rich people problems. They're not really problems. They're things to laugh at.
Yeah,
there are decisions that you can make.
Which is why I chose this article.
There are decisions you can make when rich that are so astronomically stupid. The only correct thing to do is to point, laugh, and take a piss on whatever the fuck they cherish most. This is one of those times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I just... So... I am somewhat sympathetic. And I think insurance must work differently in Canada than it does in the States. Shocker, I know. But I am pretty sure that in Canada, if you have a new vehicle, part of the insurance package, like first off, if you buy a new vehicle, you have to get full coverage. You can't just get liability
That's
only.
how it is here as well.
Yeah, so you have to get full coverage, so like fire, theft, all that jazz. Um, but I'm pretty sure here they also have like a depreciation thing factored in where like even if the value of the car when it's totaled, the market value is less than what you owe on it, like they'll make up the difference for the first like 5 years or something of the car's life.
Mhm.
So I'm pretty sure that is a thing that is standard in Canadian insurance, but I don't know.
Yeah, I have not gotten in an accident while being fully covered. I've only ever gotten in an accident when I had liability. So I'm not very versed in any of this because it's one of those things that I find so thoroughly uninteresting that unless it happens to me, I'm probably never going to learn about it, regardless of how important it may or may not be.
Well, basically, my thought is that if I have a loan on the vehicle, I am going to have the full coverage on it. If I pay cash for
Mhm.
the vehicle, liability only.
Yeah, I so my mom has been trying to convince me to maintain full coverage even after the vehicle is paid off. And I may end up doing that just because like
Yeah, I mean, it
it is a
depends.
brand
Like,
new vehicle.
it depends on the price difference, really. And like, also, like, yeah, I also speak as someone who like my only experience with cars is either a beater car that really sucks. Well, no, some of my beater cars have been good cars, but like it's a beater car that I paid $1,000 for, and so like
Mhm.
having full coverage on it after like a few months, that is, I've now paid more for the extra coverage than I would have to just get a new car. Um, so I've either had beater cars or I've had new cars. Those are my only experiences right now.
Yeah, that's kind of where I've been with one exception. I years ago my mom gave me her old SUV which she used as her business car when I was a kid. And that was like but by the time I got it, it had like 170,000 miles on it, so
Yeah, it's
it was
basically a
kind of a
beater.
beater car by that point.
Yeah. Oh, it's still one of my favorite cars that I ever had was a little Nissan. Um, the fuck was it? Altima?
I had a Nissan Altima.
I don't know, but I don't think it was the Altima. I don't know. It was one of the little Nissans that's kind of a sporty car, but also kind of a family car. And I paid $1,200
Mm.
for that thing, and my intention was to drive it into the ground, but it just never got there. It just kept on going and going and going, and eventually, um, and this is back when I was working in restaurants. I was like, my tips are enough that I can afford the payment on a new vehicle. So why don't I get one? It's like, yeah, maybe
Yeah,
not the best financial decision, but
it's a very gilded cage kind of financial decision.
yeah, it's one of those things where somebody less fortunate than me can. You had the option to have a perfectly good vehicle with no payment, and you traded that in for one that you're paying hundreds of dollars a month for. Ha, you idiot! Like, yeah, that's fine.
Yep. Yeah, when
You're allowed to
when
laugh
I
at me for that.
when I got my new vehicle, it was and actually I did a stream when this happened, trying to get the funds to take care of it. My car broke down in the middle of a stream that I was doing to get stuff for house repairs. I had my car break down when I went to go get food during that subathon.
Ain't that
So
always the way?
my options became well, I could transfer all of these funds that are needed for house repairs to car repairs, or and then I was told that my car's bottom was so rusted that it couldn't actually be repaired.
Ah, that's always
So I was
fun.
like, well, looks like I have to buy a new vehicle with this money, or I can get a vehicle that won't break down on me in a year. That's great. So I ended up having I got lucky and my parents were able to co-sign on a or my mom was able to co-sign on the vehicle that I have right now, so I was able to get it for $0 down.
Yeah,
I just had to make sure that I had like my first payment and stuff.
yeah.
So that was that was lucky. Technically, I am still paying for that decision now,
Hmm.
but ultimately
You
it was a
you know
decision
what?
that needed to be made.
There comes a point in a car's life where it's the amount I'm paying at the mechanics every month is the same as a payment on a new vehicle.
Yeah. That's where I was at, where I was like, every couple of months I had to spend about $700 to $1,000 repairing something on the vehicle.
Yeah.
And my current car payment is $450.
Yeah. So
it's about the same.
Now, that being said, I also have the experience of having a new vehicle that is a lemon. And like, yeah, you're not paying for those repairs, but it's annoying having to have it towed once every couple months.
Yeah. I had a couple of recalls on mine, but nothing
because of the issue that I had that made it a lemon, that vehicle now has a lifetime warranty on the transmission.
That's not bad at all, actually.
No, it's not bad, but that I didn't get that mail until I had already sold it. So, actually, no, it was just before I sold it. That was something I was like, okay, hey, dealership taking this vehicle. It's got a lifetime warranty on the transmission. Don't ask questions about why it's got that. But it does. That's a thing that it has.
It does have that. You know, it's like one of those Facebook posts or one of the Twitter posts where they give you which pill would you take? And it's like, would you take this amount of superpowers, but you randomly get knocked out once every day for 20 minutes and you have no control over when it is. It's one of those things where like, this thing's transmission will last forever, technically. It will just get knocked out every once in a while.
I should probably also point out that Fennec has brought up that folks have been calling Teslas swastikars.
Swastikars?
Yeah. I say swastika. Is it swastika?
Swastika.
I don't know. Okay, swastikars. Sure. And apparently Musk is really mad about swastika. That. No?
That is a new one for me.
Okay.
When did...
I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, that's the story. Cybertruck got totaled. We don't there's a whole article with us. Funnily enough, so this was from Torque News. This is just like people being lazy. Like they saw a Reddit post and are like, let's write an article and call it news. So like, take it with a grain of salt. This may or may not have actually happened because it's not hard to find pictures of messed up Cybertrucks. Mm-hmm. So it could have just been somebody trying to make it look bad on Reddit. But what also made me laugh was there, like on the advertisements on the side when I was on this one was another article where apparently there's a subreddit where Tesla or Cybertruck drivers are mad about anti-Elon Musk hate crimes being perpetrated against them.
What is an anti-Elon Musk hate crime? Is Elon Musk a protected category?
No, they just give them the finger as they're driving around. And that one, I thought about pulling that one for the story, but then it was like, no, this is like a lot of the responses sounded like they were written by AI because it was very sanitized instead of being like, yeah, they gave me the middle finger. It'd be like, they were gesturing rudely with their fingers at me. Like, nobody talks like that. What are you talking about? They gave you the finger. And there were a lot of posts like that. But then like what was really funny is that like one person, and they were so clearly being sarcastic and trying to just, stir the pot or whatever. This person was like, oh, well, you know what? Since we're driving Teslas and we all think like Elon Musk, we should do a hand wave to each other to signify support. And we should use the Elon Musk, my heart goes out to you gesture as the hand wave. And it was so very clearly written from someone who's like just taking the piss.
Except that there are people right now. So there was a pastor, I forget who, Right Wing Watch posted about it. Who?
Oh yeah. I saw it.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about. I thought about pulling that one tonight as well.
I understand the thought that it's taking the piss, but I've spent enough time mired in Poe's law that I don't think there's a difference anymore.
Okay, well, let's actually read it. So okay, we Okay, so this person says we should really salute each other like Elon Musk threw out his heart to the crowd. Deep down inside, we all think like Elon, which is why we purchase his products to support his and his quest to help humanity. Like, to me, that is clearly taking the piss. Like, I don't think they're actually suggesting to do that. However, it would not surprise me if some Cybertruck drivers took that seriously. But then there's also like where the finger. Yeah, so like a person walked by and said, "Nice car, jerk," while making a rude gesture with his finger. Like, flipped you the bird, flipped you off, gave you the finger. Those are all ways that we say that. We don't say making a rude gesture with his finger. That is something ChatGPT says.
Yeah.
A cyclist next to the Cybertruck made rude gestures using his fingers. Again, not something that people say. That is something ChatGPT says. But yeah. So that's why I'm not entirely convinced that the news on this news site is actually valid.
It's I don't understand why we live in a world right now where this is a thing we have to even be concerned about. I don't want to live in a world where robots probably wrote my news. I don't want to live in that world anymore.
No.